Hello everyone and welcome to my desk. I made some big changes in my pen situation for this year, and I made some decisions about how many pens I was going to have inked at one time. I just finished a notebook this morning and stored it, but in that notebook, and somewhere in the middle, I had written with every single one of the pens that I had inked, and there were far too many. I find that I just wasn't getting to them all, and some of them feel a little bit more seasonal to me. And so I have cleaned them up and put them away for another season. And that's what I decided. I decided that much like so many other things in my life, my stationery can be seasonal as well. So I thought I would show you today what I decided on for the winter months that are still left. I'm really, really happy with my choices, and it just makes a great deal of sense to me. So before I get into the sort of everyday carries and the reserve pens that I always keep inked, they have special purposes for me. I'm going to talk about these just briefly. I'm not even going to write with them or anything. Maybe that will be a separate video, but these are my Moon Men pens. And this is a Bennu Briolette. So these pens are reserved for glittery inks. The Moon Men pens are really inexpensive pens that I worry about putting glittery inks in my really good pens. I just don't want to do it. So I have these pens for that specific purpose, and they all have glittery inks in them. The only one that doesn't is this tiny Moon Man, which has Sailor Mano ink in Haha, which is a very staining ink. As you can see, it's stained already, this pen that will never come off. So I love this ink. I don't use it that often, but when I do want it, I do use it enough to keep this inked in that color. I do love that ink. The Bennu is a bit different. It's a more expensive pen, but this has a broader nib on it. It's nice and juicy, and the sparkle inks flow really well through here. And I also know that this is a nib that is easily replaced. This is not a 14 karat gold nib, right? And so I keep this ink in particular is Wearing Gull Me in the Mirror, which is a really, really sparkly sort of blue, deep blue black with a silver mirror shimmer. It's gorgeous, and I think it just suits this pen so well. So maybe I'll do another video sometime on my sparkle inks. I don't have that many. They're all in here. I don't have any that aren't in a pen. And I love to use these for journaling and letters, and they're just fun, right? The other pens that I keep inked all the time and for specific reasons are my Kavekos, and these all have kind of fun specialty inks that I wouldn't use every day. So this is my Kaweco collection. They each have some kind of special ink in it. They're mostly medium to broad to double broad. I get the thicker ones because I want that juicy ink flow for these specialty inks. For this one, for example, is a Sailor ink. This is the Kaweco Aluminum Sport in Anthracite, which is probably my favorite out of all of them. I I just started a new journal today, and I was swatching inks for this so I could choose. So this is the Moon Man. This is the Bennu with sparkle, the Me in the Mirror ink. Okay, so this is a Sailor ink, and it's really, really light. This is called Biakua, I think it's called. I can never remember the names. I don't even own this ink. It's still a sample that someone sent me, but I love it so much. And it's like a grayish lavender, and if you could see this really close up, it's got like a green outline to it. It's just the coolest ink. It is not an everyday ink for me. It's for special fun, for journaling and whatever. And I keep these kinds of inks in the Kavekos because I can have a broader nib in them. This one is a broad nib, yeah. And the nice thing about the Covecos is that if you wanted to write thinner, you can turn it over and do reverse writing and get a really nice, nice fine line. But the thing is that the finer lines do not show off the beautiful properties of these crazy, crazy Sailor inks. I mean, you can just see the color difference throughout here. It's amazing. So that's what my Covecos are for. They are for specialty fun inks that I want in a really juicy, flowy pen. For instance, this one, it's not even a super fancy ink, but I just really like having this ink. This is a double broad, and this is the Berlin Notebook Fox number 6, which is one of my very favorite inks ever. And I just like having it in a fat, juicy nib for special things. I mean, it's yummy. It's really yummy. So that's what my Covecos are for. Again, these pens, for the most part, I mean, the brass pen is a little more expensive. The aluminums are a little more expensive. However, I can buy a new nib for these for $13, $12, $11, $12, $13 if something happens, right? So, and I don't know, they're just fun. This is like my little rainbow pouch. I love this pouch. This was a special edition of a Superior Labor roll that I got, and I love it. So that's specifically for that. Okay, so those are the only other pens that I have inked other than these. And I'm going to start with this pouch because these are pens that are not necessarily my everyday pens, but that have a specific purpose for me and that I love and that I always have them inked. I also have another Pelikan that I use only for sketching, and it's a smoky quartz in a fine. It's also an M200. So this is the Pelikan M200 in pastel green, and I don't know, this pen, it is just so delightful to use. Delightful to use. And in it, so this is the Pelikan M200 in pastel green. I don't even know if you can get this pen anymore. I got it when it was kind of being phased out, and I got a really good price on it. This was after I finished my second book, and it was my present to myself. It is, it's such a, look at that, juicy, beautiful, wet writer. This is a fine nib, and the thing is with the Pelikan M200s, you can get line variation with this nib. It's not even a gold nib, it's a steel nib, but it is stunning to write with. This color of ink is by Iwi. I don't know what that stands for actually, but the color is called Cold Dew, and it is one of my favorite ink colors, especially in this pen. I think it just puts it down just right. And this pen I use for my haiku. When I write haiku and I end up writing them into my final book, I'll show you what that looks like. I have a very special notebook for haiku. And when I enter it in here, when the haiku is finished, and it goes through all of the, go back to some of the earlier ones, I write it in this pen on this paper. All right, so it's a specific purpose. I keep it inked all the time. Do I use it every day? No, I don't. Every now and then I pull it out to do regular writing, but it's mostly for that purpose, and it's perfect. This one is my TWSBI Diamond Iris. This is, I believe it's a bold. This is also a broad nib. I bought this pen specifically for this ink. This is, and I love how mine ended up having this turquoise tip just on the tip. It's perfect. This is a TWSBI Diamond Iris. And this is a broad nib. And this ink is Iro Shizuku by Pilot in Amairo. And I love this ink, it does stain pens. So this pen is, can't even spell. This pen is dedicated to this ink only, and I use this ink for very specific things. And I just have to always have a pen with this in it, and this pen to me is the perfect pen for this ink. It is just beautiful. And funny enough, I am not a blue ink person. I'm just not. I like really deep blue blacks that are almost black, which I will show you in a minute, but I'm mostly a gray ink person. But this blue, I have to have it at all times in a pen. And then my other one is this. This is, so this is the Sailor, this is a Sailor Pro Gear, and this is for more, just formal writing that I need to do. This is a medium nib. It's nice and juicy, but it still has that yummy Sailor feedback. It's an 18 karat nib. I'm sorry, it's a 21 karat nib. It is, oh, this pen is just, it's just a really basic pen. It's not anything fancy. I think it's beautiful. It's called Daisy White. And it's just yummy. This is Dominant Industry Winterwood, which I just put in here last month. I did have a blue black in here, and also one time I had Raven Black from Noodlers. Dominant Industry, and this is called Winterwood. And I just like a really subtle neutral ink in this pen at all times because it is a great workhorse for me. And I do use it often. So those, but it's not my everyday carry, and you'll see why in a minute. So these are my three must be inked at all times pens. Throughout every season, you will find these inked up. So for winter, these are the three pens that I chose. And these I talked about in my last video, these little pen kimonos by Otis Handmade on Etsy. You can look at my last video and see the link for these. I love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. So this is my first everyday carry. I think this will stay with me through all seasons. I don't think it will ever change. I love this pen. I can't say more than any other pen. I don't know. I use it. I use it more than any other pen. It's the Pilot Vanishing Point in stripes. And if you are not familiar with Vanishing Point pens, they're the coolest. Look at that tiny little nib. I think it's an 18 karat nib, or is it 21 karat? I don't remember, but it's nice. This is a medium. And it's the tiniest little nib. This only takes Pilot converters or Pilot cartridges, and they're proprietary. So I just refill the cartridge that came with it. I emptied it out from the Pilot black ink that came with it, and I put in my own ink. And this one right now is an ink that I absolutely love, love, love. It is by Kiyo no Oto. It's called Aonibi. So Aonibi Iro. And I only have it in a sample. I don't even have it right here. It's on my other desk, but I only have it in a sample, and I will buy it, but I think I've gone through 2 samples of this ink. It is, and you'll see, it is really beautiful. Now this pen has flaws for me because I'm left-handed. There is a sweet spot with this pen, and this clip where I thought it might be a nuisance, it actually keeps me in the sweet spot, and it's very comfortable for me for some reason. It keeps me from gripping the pen too hard, which I tend to do. So this is, see, that I have to pay attention when I use this pen. It doesn't matter though, because I love writing with this pen so much. This is the medium nib, and the color is called Stripes. It's just silver plated brass, I think. But you see how the pen will skip. It's not the pen, it's how I'm holding the pen. Left-handed people have trouble with this pen. all right? There is a real sweet spot with this pen, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. If it skips, I go back if it's necessary, and I fix it, right? But it's not the pen's flaw, it's the way I hold the pen. And I'll just say that it wasn't a pen really designed for left-handed people. Shame on them, but it's just the truth. So look at that color, that gold dew, so gorgeous. It has like, I don't know, it has hints of every color in it. So this ink is, again, Kiyo no Oto. See, it's doing it to me. Kiyo no Oto. So that's the Kyoto Ink Company. Ao Nibi Iro. And it's this gorgeous deep blue-gray. See that? And it's just so elegant to me. It's skipping more than usual right now. I wonder if it's because I just refilled this cartridge and it's stuck. So the thing is with these cartridges, when you refill them, I really think that they need like a little ball in them or something to keep the ink down. Yeah, the ink was all stuck up here. You can see it's moving down now. That's the only thing with using, with refilling cartridges. Sometimes the gravity, the flow of it is not great in the beginning, especially if the cartridge isn't used yet. I just refilled it this morning. That's better. Yeah. So again, gorgeous, gorgeous color. This pen does not have a lot of line variation. It is flexible. It's bouncy, I should say. It's not flexible. But I don't know. I just love this pen. Love it. Okay. And some days I'm right in the sweet spot and I have no issues with it at all. Other days I have issues, and it's probably to do with that cartridge. All right. So that's my first one. That is a winter color for this pen. In the spring, I will probably change the color. The next one is a pen that I recently did a video on, and that is my TWSBI Diamond Mini, which I think also is a non-negotiable pen. I don't see this as having a season to it. I just freaking love this pen. So this is the TWSBI. This is a fine point, and this is the Diamond Mini Rose Gold White. And again, fine point. I wish I would have gotten a medium, and I think I still can. I can change the nib out. I would like it to be a little wetter, but this is that same Berlin Fox number 6. And I love having this blue-black, like indigo ink with this rusty burnt sienna ink. It's very indigo rust for me, which are colors that I love in the wintertime. This is also a great autumn ink, right? And I think it just goes with this pen so beautifully that I don't think I'll ever change it. I just did a video on this pen, so I don't need to do that again. It's a beautiful writer. It's one of my favorite pens ever. It's so reliable. It's so affordable. It's a winner. And it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful pen. I love everything about this pen. So that's my second everyday pen. And these just live on my desk in their little kimonos. And when I leave the house and I want to take a pen, it's just easy to take them. So the last one is a Franken pen. And because I love this pen for winter, it's called Snow Moon. I mean, how can you not love it? It's got very subtle shimmer in it, and it's cream and black and gold, and it's called Snow Moon. It's a Sailor Pro Gear Slim. The nib on this pen was a medium fine. It was a pretty basic medium fine for Sailor, but one of the 14 karat ones. And My other one that was up, but I love it for winter, right? So what I did is I took the nib unit off a white sailor, which is also nice for this time of year, but I can use the white in any season. This one just particularly says winter to me. So I took the nib unit off my white sailor, even though it has silver and the white gold. It's probably iridium plated, um, 14 karat gold, right? I took the nib unit off the white pen, which was a gift to me, and I will put it back on there in the spring. And I just put it on here, so it's like a Franken pen. And you can do that with sailors. As long as it's the same body, you can switch out the nib units. I do that on my Coecos all the time too, to mix and match colors. It's really fun. So I've got my Snow Moon with this beautiful custom cursive italic nib. It's a medium fine, I believe. It's a medium fine cursive italic. So this is the Snow Moon. And I have talked about this pen before, but with a custom cursive italic, which gives me gorgeous line variation for a left-hander just by writing in my normal way. And this color is by Dominant Industry, and I love, love, love it for winter where I live. And it's called Dominant Industry Romania Red. And when I write with it, it's got this beautiful shading where I get pops of like intense berry red, winter berry red. And then when it dries down, it becomes this gorgeous, very neutral color that I think looks beautiful on the cream paper that I choose to write on. So I love that I thought to do this. It's perfect. It's the perfect winter pen with a beautiful winter ink, and I would only use this ink in winter, right? And so come spring, I'm going to take this and put it back on the white body and put a more spring-like color in this pen. This nib is a non-negotiable for me. It has to be ready to use at any time. I love it so much. And let me just turn the page and just show you how gorgeous. So I get these like needlepoint fine lines this way, and then thicker lines this way. I mean, it is just fine. I'm not putting any pressure on it at all. You don't need to. It's just so beautiful. So, so, so beautiful. Isn't that something? Just gorgeous. And it's a fairly wet writer, considering how fine this nib is. You can fill in a space. Probably better if you're going up and down. Yeah. But gorgeous. So that's it. Those are my everyday carries. And I just really love this idea of having 3 pens that are seasonal for me. Mostly the inks. And this pen will change into another body. This nib will go into another body in the spring. But these are just sort of my non-negotiables, the pens that I just love to use every day. And I'll just change out the ink colors, right, when it comes to be spring. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have a system and how you handle not having so many pens inked up at once. I cleaned them all out well. I let them dry for several days, and I stored them beautifully. So my pens are all stored in cozy little blankets like this with polar fleece on the inside. Yeah, that's it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And yeah, I will see you again soon. Take care.